spoilers, thank you for joining us. I'm Joy.
And I'm Laura.
And this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into season 5, episode 20, The Devil You Know.
I need you guys to know behind the scenes that, I was like, Laura, in a minute, I'm going to do the intro. She was like, okay. She muted herself and then just made this, turtle laughing face and then was just absolutely cracking up. So all I'm looking at while I'm about to be like, hi, hunters, is just Laura absolutely creasing it on the camera across from me.
It's because we try and do 5 seconds of silence before so I can use it to remove the background. This is behind the scenes of the podcast.
Yeah.
But Joy just stares at me the whole time and it makes me laugh.
What are you just staring? It's because we're counting. I'm looking at you to see if you are counting or if I'm counting. And that's been behind the scenes on how this podcast is made, guys.
I'm leaving all this in.
Yeah. That's a pretty good, decent, unhinged place to start from, to be honest with you, because
Always.
I have been we know that I'm a little bit special, don't we? I have not hidden the fact that I struggle sometimes, and I feel like my POTS syndrome has been kicking my ass. Actually, last week, my knee, my right knee, dislocated itself badly enough. I still get subluxes more than full, so I don't have to go to the hospital to get things put back in. But I had to put a knee brace on for a lot of the week, and it was just really, really painful. And I think between that and just the other general craziness of life, I have been struggling. So I had actually some really fun conversations with people coming back, because when we're recording this, I'm just back from that week off that I took, which this will be a week or two ago for you guys in real time when you're listening. I think
a social media break she had.
Yeah, I had a week off of Instagram, and I was like, I'm going away and I'm coming back on Friday, and everybody was like, cool, have a good time, bye. It was really nice. And so in our time right now, which is 2 weeks ago as you're listening to this, I just came back and people were so nice, and I had so many fun messages, and I was talking to Nadine, and I was talking to Beck, and I was talking to Sia, and so I had a great conversation with Wally. I've just been chatting to so many people. It's been really, really nice. And so obviously I haven't got a mailbag for this week because I was away all of last week, but I did want you guys to know that I know this is a few weeks back now, but Beck came through so strong to talk to us about 99 Problems, because they had appendicitis, but we're still committed to coming and telling us all of the thoughts and everything. They've
Thanks,
just
Beck.
recovered. Be well,
okay.
Beck. We love you. Yeah. So they wanted us to know that Lisa and Cass were done wrong in the 99 Problems episode, and that Dean is basically Batman. So the conversation that we had with Spirits and Supernatural, just that there were very strong feelings that Cass was done wrong, and Dean was done wrong, and Lisa and Ben were done wrong. And I was to be fair, if you're gonna reply after appendicitis, I'm gonna put that in the podcast. It would be rude not to. I really wanted to just play the voice notes because Beck is so funny and everyone would love it, but there were just a couple of little things because they were only addressing it really to me, because obviously we talk. So there was no concern about Laura and spoilers, because there didn't need to be. But but I wish I could play them, because these voice notes are, guys, you would love them so much. So funny. Beck is absolutely brilliant. Totally made my day. Beck was immediately you mean Daybreak, don't you? That's the zombie show with the young Jared Padalecki. And I was like, yes, that is exactly what I mean. You knew exactly what I meant immediately. And Beck's point to my point was that that with Lisa and Ben throughout the show, I won't say any spoilers, but just throughout the show, as the show goes on, it's made really clear that knowing a Winchester is dangerous to your health because it's supernatural. So he does have to have this kind of Batman situation where he is forced to create distance from them. So Beck was I don't think that it's
he clearly cares
a
about
choice.
Her. He has to care from afar because he doesn't want her to get hurt.
That's the vibe, I think. and I had so many fun conversations. Actually, Leah, who's Crimson Sonata on Instagram, has been raising awareness about, it was PCOS and it's just been renamed as, like, I think it's PMOS, is it?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I can't remember the new acronym, but yeah, I saw
Sorry,
that it
because
was
I don't
changed.
know. I haven't learned the new acronym yet. Apologies for that. But Jen, as in Genevieve Padalecki, and Jared did a panel with a doctor talking about women's health and medicine. And Sia has been posting about that and promoting it and really like dug in. And she was really kind when I was talking to her, and she was saying that our avid conversations about women's health sort of pushed her to want to know more about her health. And um she's doing it now. Like she's out there, she's advocating, and
Oh, that's good.
that's amazing. Like, I'm so proud of her. So I just want to say that I'm really, really proud of you.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing is great. I think the more people discussing women's health, the better, basically. We need everything that we can get right now.
Definitely. I just looked it up, by the way. It's PMOS.
Yeah, it is PMOS. Yes.
Yeah.
I knew something, sort of.
Polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
So now we know. We learned something. We should insert the more you know. Reading Rainbow. So yeah, basically, like, I just came back to some really cool conversations, some really nice messages, some really nice tags. So as much as I appreciate, this will be like a few weeks down the line when this episode comes out. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. That was so nice. I loved all of these conversations. I am going to be putting up a new section in the mailbag because Laura's had an absolutely brilliant idea where I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. You're very smart. That's just silly. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity on Instagram and in the email to write in ahead of time, so we're 2 weeks ahead recording wise from what you guys are listening to, right? So I will let you know which episodes are coming up, and you guys can write in your thoughts, quotes, thirst traps, like conspiracy theories, fun facts, anything that you would like to contribute or have discussed on the podcast. You can write in ahead of time. So I'm gonna incorporate it into the Instagram stories, and I'm going to like remind you guys that you can also do this via the email. So it doesn't only have to be on Instagram. I know we have a lot of different listeners. Not everyone engages with our Instagram account. And that's absolutely fine. If you want to submit by email, that's totally cool. I'll make sure that I check the email every single week, and then I will put those in the episodes, which I think would be fun, because we had a really cool comment from one of our listeners who raised a really good point, and that's happened a few times actually, and we've been like, if we'd known, we could have discussed it in the episode at the time. And Laura, who is all about that chronological order, is like, this is what we need to be doing.
Yeah, so because we have comments after about episodes, and it's like, if it's kind of
such a good
it's
point.
kind of awkward to talk about it like 2 weeks down the line about an episode that we've recorded ages ago. So it would make more sense if we had them ahead of time.
Yeah. So that's not to say that you can't comment at any time. Yeah, like, I have no sense of time. I don't care.
But if you want them on the podcast.
But it is a cool opportunity for us to have more of like a live conversation with you guys, because that would mean we would be discussing the same episode at the same time. We could get all of your thoughts, all of your thirst traps and things. You could be even more a part of the episodes than you are now, which I think is sick. I think this is a great idea. Like, I feel like we all get along so well, and we all have such a good time together, and we've got such a great community. I think that Laura is a genius, basically. And I know when this episode comes out, I think people are going to be excited. So I am thrilled. I will make sure that I get on that. If this episode comes out and you haven't seen me doing that in the places, be like, Joy, where is it? Give it to us. You already told us it was happening.
We do sometimes forget what we've said we're going to do until we listen back to our own podcast. So.
And then we're like, oh yeah. Or there'll be a reference. There'll be like a question that we asked, and people will be answering it as the episode comes out, and we'll be like, that was like 2 weeks ago. What did we say?
Yeah, I can never remember because I've always got like 3 episodes in my head at once because like the one that I'm watching and writing notes about, the one we're recording, and then the one that I'm editing. Yeah. So I get very confused.
Which is totally understandable. You have a lot more to be confused about than me.
But having said all of that, we did have a comment that I wanted to bring up, which was about an episode from a couple of weeks ago. That was on Instagram. So it was on the out of context quotes post that I put up for Dark Side of the Moon. And you know how we had a bit of a debate about how the brothers were annoyed about each other's memories and heavens, and we like took our men's sides.
Fight. We had some fights about it.
Yeah, we had a comment which I thought was really interesting and adds to that, so I wanted to read it out. So it's by Professor Ducklington on Instagram, and they said, I wish more people realised that the angels obviously manipulated their heavens to put a divide between the brothers. Think about it, people. Would Sam's true heaven really not include Jess over some random Thanksgiving with a girl he knew for a blink of time? Also, the way so many hold Sam accountable for having memories that aren't Dean-centred, but are fine with Dean's heaven having the memory with his mum that didn't centre Sam. So, yeah, that first point I thought was really interesting. And then the second point is kind of what we were talking about and what we had our argument about.
It's what we were debating, isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought that was good. Like the angels manipulating it, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense because we know that they could change so many things that were happening. Like, I think they were sort of manipulating the road and a bunch of other things. And like, we know that angels can pretend to be other people. What it reminds me of is like when Sam gets that voicemail from Dean, but it's not really from Dean. And Dean's like, I hate you and all that stuff before he goes off to kill Lilith. And that's like the inciting incident. And we're like, is it angels? Is it demons? Is it both?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's all really manipulative. So
we're trying to drive a wedge between them all the time.
Yeah. I think it's an amazing point. It's not one that I thought of, definitely. We didn't think of it when we were watching the episode, but like it would make a lot of sense if these things were brought to the front on purpose and not a true representation of what their actual heavens would have been like.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was good. That was interesting. And I wanted to just bring it up as a little, to round it all out.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. The second part of that is such a hot take.
That was what I said.
Yeah, that is what you said, and I maintain that it's a hot take. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a hot take, y'all. It's
Dean
a hot take.
Was a hypocrite.
He's not, though.
He totally was.
He's not, though.
We can't have this argument again.
No, well, we could, but like we're really sidetracking away from where we actually are in real time.
Yeah,
it's a little like wait. Well, one last thing to say on it before we move on. No, it is a little bit of both. Okay, it's a little bit of both because like if you're Dean, if you actually put yourself in Dean's shoes for like a minute, you can see why he feels the way that he feels. And also, if we acknowledge that things are being manipulated, then we need to acknowledge that Dean is being manipulated.
Yeah.
And
I can see why Dean was upset, but
anyone would feel upset by that. That's the point that I want to make. Is like I think that the fact
can't help having his memories, but he has.
But I don't think that anyone's saying that. I don't think anyone's saying Sam is the absolute worst.
Dean was.
I just think,
Dean did.
But Dean's being manipulated once again. This is my whole point. I'm just gonna come down to the fact that like guys, there's clearly a like Sam girl camp and a Dean girl camp, and I'm the Dean girl camp and she's in the Sam girl camp, and that's fine.
We do cross over occasionally.
We do cross over occasionally.
I like Dean when he's being like
much glee.
When he's being like nice and sensitive, not when he's being like a fuckboy.
Sure. And I like Sam when he's more violent and angry.
Yeah.
I'm well adjusted.
Anyway,
that was an awesome point. It was a great comment. We really appreciate you writing in. Laura especially, because she's like, 2-1. And I don't mind. Like I always come down to like I don't think that anybody's necessarily right or wrong about it. I think both points of view are valid. I'm not gonna like change my opinion, but I can certainly recognize where you guys are coming from and see it as completely valid.
Yeah.
So yeah. Should we do the episode that we're actually on now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any more preamble, or should I do the synopsis?
Do the synopsis, please.
Okay, so this is season 5, episode 20, The Devil You Know. The original air date for this episode was April 29th, 2010. Sam and Dean, on the hunt for the horseman Pestilence, find themselves in a town where a flu epidemic has broken out. Crowley turns up and tells them that he can help them find him. Sam doesn't trust him at all, but Dean agrees to go with him to kidnap a demon named Brady who works for a pharmaceutical company. When they take Brady back to the abandoned building they've been hiding out in, we find out Brady is Sam's college friend and has been a demon since then. Brady is also who introduced Sam to Jess and killed her. Sam is angry and wants to kill Brady, but Dean and Crowley convince him they need him to find Pestilence. Crowley tries to manipulate Brady into telling them, but they are almost killed when hellhounds find them at the abandoned house. They manage to get away and Brady tells them where they can find Pestilence. Sam then kills Brady. And at the end of the episode, Crowley goes to Bobby and tells him that he needs to borrow his soul to find out where death is for them.
He's just going to give it right back.
Yeah, just nick it, take it for a little bit, and then give it back.
Yeah. In the same condition that it was given in, I'm sure.
I love Crowley.
Wrong. Crowley's I told you. I knew you were going to love him.
It's because he's like horrible, but he's funny.
He's amazing. Apparently he was voted like best villain, I think 2 years in a row, like best or most popular villain. I saw that.
He's a really good villain. And I actually really liked like his and Dean's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like dynamic this episode.
Yeah, they have a really fun dynamic from day one, honestly. It's like frenemies.
Yeah.
And kind of like partners in crime, and the banter is so funny. Like this entire episode is honestly so unbelievably funny. I love it so much. There's so many amazing quotes in it. I'm not going to keep going on because I feel like I'll just like blather about the entire episode before we even get in there, but I could say so much about how much I love it.
Yeah. I hope we see more of him and he sticks around because he's funny.
Oh, Crowley's a fixture. You're fine.
Okay, good.
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, in the teaser for this episode, it went right back to the start, and because it gave us all the whole Sam and Jess thing, and they look like such babies at the start of the series.
They do. Especially when you look at like Jared.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like night and day.
Yeah. And yeah, so the main point of that teaser was to remind us that they need to collect all 4 of the rings of the horseman and use them somehow to trap Lucifer back in his cage. And they've got 2 already, haven't they? And they're on the hunt for Pestilence. And at the end, we realise that they're also on the hunt for death as well. But yeah. So we open in some sort of science lab, and there are rats in cages and a janitor sweeping the floor. 2 doctors come in talking about the swine flu vaccination that they're creating. They continue to talk as they check on the monkeys and write their observations on their clipboards. They're talking about the vaccine being rushed and how it's just for profit, as if the company really cared, they would give it out for free and stop the epidemic. One doctor asks the other if he's seen the new vaccine. Neither of them have. And the janitor then interrupts them and says he has. And then one of the doctors is like, who the hell are you? And the janitor says, I'm running an experiment, then stabs him in the neck with a needle. The other doctor just stands there and he gets knocked to the ground. The janitor leaves and locks them in there. The first doctor then gets up and now looks all evil. He then attacks the other doctor as the janitor and the monkeys watch. We then see the janitor's eyes turn black because he's really a demon. And I just wrote that this really reminded me of Contagion, like the film.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I said Outbreak.
Well, both work.
Yeah.
I think both works.
Yeah. I totally know what you're... So there's a line here where we learn about the name of the company, right? And I just have a fun fact about that quickly. So he says, well, if Niveus was really worried about the epidemic, it's that one. So the name is Niveus. And I found this fact on Supernatural Wiki.
That's Brady's company. Or the one
that says that it's Latin and that it means Snow White. And I was like, okay, but why? That doesn't make sense. So then I had to dig a little deeper. And it turns out that I think that this actually goes in with the horseman lore. So basically, the horseman lore for pestilence ties in with death, right? And if you look at the actual quote, it says, I looked, and there was a pale green horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed with him. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, famine, and pestilence, and by the wild animals of the earth. So, this article goes on to say that pestilence is generally understood as the rider of the fourth and the final pale horse in Revelation, bringing death through pandemic, disease, and plagues. Named Death, this rider is often accompanied by Hades. So, like, basically, from what I can tell, pestilence is death and death is pestilence, like in the actual lore. So, riding on a pale horse or white horse, like the white color scheme. So, Snow White in this instance, I think, is referring to like the fact that he's the pale horse rider in Revelation.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's so spooky. So it goes on to say, this article that I found on Wikipedia talking more about it, that the horseman in this instance, like there's a little bit of confusion in terms of what different translations are saying about it. So that the first horseman is called pestilence and is associated with infectious disease and plague, which first appears at least as early in 1906 in the Jewish Encyclopedia. This particular interpretation is common to the four horsemen, and the origin of this interpretation is unclear. Some translations of the Bible mention plague, but other newer versions usually mention pestilence in connection to the riders in the passage following the introduction of the fourth rider. So there's a lot of kind of like mixing up of who the riders are and what this passage actually means, which I thought was interesting. And so the pestilence side of it just seems to be like, these are all the different ways that death is going to bring death. So it's kind of breaking everything down. So war will kill people, famine kills people, plagues kill people, and wild beasts, so like your lions, your tigers, your bears. Oh my.
Yeah. So it's more like death is like the main guy, and then there's three horsemen, really.
Yeah, basically.
That fits with the show as well, because they're leaving death for last. So I'm guessing that he's like the bigger kind of one out of the four.
It's the big build up. So everything does kind of go together. Yeah. There's another quote that comes from a novel that was released and filmed, actually. So it was a novel that came out in 1916 and then was turned into a movie in 1921 and 1962. Again, I guess there was a remake of it. That says, the horseman on the white horse was clad in a showy and barbarous attire. While his horse continued galloping, he was bending his bow in order to spread pestilence abroad. At his back swung the brass quiver filled with poisoned arrows containing all the germs of diseases. So yeah.
Cool.
Spooky. And then they're also talking about like the swine flu epidemic, right? Which was real and of the time, and Laura and I were having a little conversation before we started recording, and both of us went through that. I actually had swine flu, and they had to give me the pack that they gave people. I forget what it's called, but it like basically just nukes your what's it called?
The immune system.
Your immune system. It kills your immune system. So you have to just stay inside and not get exposed to anything else, but it will also kill the swine flu.
Yeah.
And I felt so good because I have so many immune system diseases. Like a lot of my issues are autoimmune. It's my body attacking itself. So afterwards I felt amazing for a while. And I was just like, yes, let's do this more. Let's just hit the reset button. They're like, yeah, Joy, that's not how that works.
No, I remember it.
Kill your immune system.
I remember it. I think I was at uni. I was definitely still living in the city where I went, or the town where I went to uni. And I remember it being like kind of scary, but not like when COVID hit. But it was still, there was a lot of media around it and a lot of kind of people like were scared. It was scaremongering and stuff around it. And it felt like it was going to be really dangerous and like a big thing like COVID ended up being. But it didn't really end up being that way. I don't know why. I suppose it was an epidemic instead of a pandemic.
Yeah, it was an epidemic rather than a pandemic.
Well, I suppose we get epidemics more because you get flu epidemics, don't you?
Yeah. So they think that the maximum amount of people could be something like 700 million to 1.4 billion people, or about 21% of the population at the time that could have been exposed to it. So like there, if you include people who were mild or asymptomatic.
Yeah.
So they think that it was kind of underreported and that it could have been a lot bigger than people were saying, but I do remember it, and the media was making it scarier than perhaps it was warranted. But the thing was there was a scare factor attached to it, and why it's so good in this episode is because this was the first time that we saw a disease act this way and like impact a much younger group of people, because traditionally this strain of flu did not, I think it spreaded faster as well, and it also hit people who were younger and healthier. There were more cases of like people developing pneumonia with it than that were like, you know, not over 60s. So there actually was quite an eerie, scary feel to it. Which I think is why it makes a lot of sense that they included it in this episode, because it was a topical thing that was happening. It was scary. It was something that was on people's minds.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it makes such a good point about just kind of the medical industry in the United States. And our dependency on pharmaceutical companies to do the right thing, and how they don't do the right thing ever.
It's just for businesses. It's for profit, isn't it? That's the bottom, the main thing. It's all for profit.
It's all for profit. And that is absolutely crazy. So to take us back into the, not that we really strayed from the episode, but just to take us back into the episode proper. My first notes say, this poor monkey is like, oh God, did you see what they just did to Bob? And I was like, I feel like this is very Outbreak. Is that the monkey from Outbreak?
Yeah, I think Outbreak does fit better than Contagion, but they were similar. But that one had definitely had monkeys.
Sure.
Yeah. I did actually have a fun fact here as well, which was that I didn't see this until I saw this on IMDb. So in the opening scene in the pharmaceutical lab, there's a sign for herpexia on the wall, which was the fictional herpes drug that Sam was forced to act in a commercial for in Changing Channels.
He turns around and he's like, and he's like, you said it, we have to go along with it. And he's like, oh, I have genital herpes, but with herpexia I can mildly blah 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 blah. And actually I would say the Changing Channels reference is cool, because that's the first time that they started making fun of like the pharmaceutical companies, because remember it was you and me and Navia on that episode, and it was like side effects may include bleeding from your eyeballs, like a lesson in desire to survive life. Like it was just like the whole thing was so dark and so funny, because it was such a great piece of satire about like American medical situations. I thought it was amazing, and I love it so much.
Yeah, it was good. So then we see Sam and Dean walking down a corridor in a hospital with a doctor, and they all put masks on. Oh, did you notice as well? I think because they were walking along, and it was like there was a load of sick people like waiting to be checked in or something.
Yeah.
One of them was the clerk from the end of the last episode, when Pestilence goes into the shop. I'm pretty sure it was him.
Oh, okay.
So Pestilence made him unwell, and he had to go to hospital.
Oh yeah, that probably was him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. It looked like him.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I did not pick that up.
I saw it was the second time I noticed, and I was like, oh, I think that was him.
Good job, Laura.
So yeah, so Sam and Dean are pretending to be with the CDC today, and there's a doctor explaining that she's glad they're there, but what she really needs is a vaccine. And Sam asks if she's noticed anything unusual about the strain. She says something really funny about like, yeah, so that's unusual. I can't remember what it was though.
So she says, day and a half ago, we didn't have a single case. Now we're looking at over 70, the infectious equivalent of a briefcase bomb. So yeah, I might call that a little unusual. And like, to be honest with you, the real one did spread pretty fast. Like it was spreading faster than normal. So that was pretty good, I thought. And Sam's like, a day and a half. And Dean's like, that's the same time the statue started crying. And Sam's like, yep. And the doctor's like, I'm sorry, what was that? And Dean's like, what was what? And the doctor says, did you just say a bunch of statues started crying? And Sam goes, what? No. Who would? Dean's like, who would say that, huh? Crazy people. And Sam's like, exactly. And Dean's like, yeah, which we are not. And Sam goes, no. And the doctor's like, yeah, just get us a vaccine.
They sounded really convincing.
Yeah. And Dean goes, whew.
Yeah, that was funny. So then they are driving in the Impala at night and they're talking to Bobby on the speakerphone, and Sam is saying that he's sure Pestilence touched down here, like in the town they're in, but Bobby is asking if there are any patterns, which they say no to. Bobby says Pestilence is still heading east, so they should continue going east. And then all of a sudden, Crowley turns up in the back seat. Dean swerves and stops. Sam turns around and stabs the seat where he was, but he's now disappeared. And then Crowley knocks on the window and he's like, fancy a fag and a chat. Because he's so funny. And they both get out the car.
Translate for non-Brits, that means cigarette.
Yeah.
It is not, in fact, a slur in this context.
No, it doesn't sound like it is in this context either.
I was very confused, so I'm telling everybody else who is not British.
Well, he's British.
But if you are not British, that word makes no sense, and you're just like, what the hell did he just say?
Yeah, cigarette. And they both get out the car looking pissed and hot.
So Sam says, you want to talk after what you did to us? And Crowley's like, after what I did to you? I gave you the colt. And Sam's like, yeah, and you knew it wouldn't work against the devil. And he's furious. And Crowley says, I never.
Crowley would never.
Sam says, you set us up. We lost people on that suicide run. Good people. And Crowley says, who you take on the ride is your own business. Like, everything is still the same. We're still in this together. And Sam's like, sure we are. And then he tries to stab Crowley. This entire scene, like, from when, like, Dean does this crazy turn to give Sam time to turn around to jump. It's perfectly coordinated. Yeah. It literally, Crowley's only still alive because he can teleport so well. Like, it's like the blink of an eye and he's gone.
That
this
so
entire thing is comedy genius because Sam is legitimately trying to just stab him so hard, like repeatedly, and Crowley just keeps ducking him like a feisty little cat or something. He's just so fast. It's hilarious.
I think Sam being angry with him was hot as well.
It makes it even funnier. And then Crowley says, call off your dog, please. Dean's like, give me one good reason. Dean's like, yes, that Sam is my dog, my violent dog, and I will not call him off. And Crowley says, I can give you Pestilence. And Dean says, what do you know about Pestilence? And Crowley says, I know how to get to him. That interests you, doesn't it? And Sam's like, are you actually listening to this? And Dean's like, Sam? And Sam's like, are you friggin' nuts? And Dean's like, shut up for a second, Sam. And Crowley says, shut up, the both of you. Look, I swear, I thought the cult would work. It's an honest mistake, but it's all part of the learning process. But nothing's changed. I still want the devil dead. Well, one thing's changed. Now the devil knows I want him dead, which, by the way, makes me the most buggered son in all of creation.
Oops.
And Dean says, holy crap, we don't care. And this is my favorite line. This is probably everybody's favorite line from any episode pretty much ever. Crowley says, they burnt down my house. They ate my tailor.
Dean does such a big eye roll after that, and it made me laugh.
Honestly, I was like, I feel you. That would be horrifying. Like, look at his suits. He's so well dressed. Later on, when he like takes that handkerchief out, it's a monogrammed silk handkerchief that absolutely perfectly matches his tie. Like, he is not okay without a tailor. This is not a man who's going to live, laugh, love without his own personal tailor. And it just makes it so funny. Like, it's his outrage. They ate my tailor. Like, Mark Sheppard is a genius. Because the way he delivers that line makes it 10 times funnier than it would have been if anyone else had said it. I swear, no one else could do
He's
that
like
exactly
so
like
angry.
That. It's just the fury. It's like the unbridled fury of they ate my tailor.
Yeah, it was good.
2 months under a rock like a bloody salamander. Every demon in hell and earth's got his eyes out for me. And yet, here I am, last place I should be, in the road, talking to Sam and Dean Winchester under a friggin' spotlight. And then he like blows up the light because they're under like a street light. And he says, so come with me, please. Do you want the horseman rings or not? Yes, I know all about that, shall we? And then they follow him to his abandoned lair.
Yeah. There was so much shouting going on in that scene. They were just all shouting at each other.
They were all
in the middle of the street.
Each other. And it's hilarious because I was like, for someone who doesn't want to bring attention to yourself, you are being extremely loud and also throwing shattering a light around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just saying. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And just my notes just say, twinkle star, twinkle star, twinkle star, my most favorite scene. They ate my tailor.
So they go to an abandoned building where Crowley's been hiding out, and he's like moaning about it. And Dean's having none of it though, and just asks how he knows about the rings. And Crowley says that he's been watching them, and Sam points out that they have hex bags, so demons shouldn't be able to see them. And he says all but one, and he explains that he got his valet to hide a tracking device on their car when they first met him. And he says he's also been able to hear them, so all their conversations in the car. He says that he wants to be let in on their plan to trap Lucifer back in his cage. Dean points out that he said that he could get them Pestilence again, because he still hasn't told them. Crowley says he doesn't know where Pestilence is per se, but he knows a demon who does. And he says he'll tell us where Sneezy's at. Sneezy.
Yeah, that part was funny. Yeah. So what we do learn about Crowley in this sort of scene that we're kind of skipping over slightly, we're just sort of like summarizing it, is that he is a salesman at heart. And it's really funny because later on he says that he's in the body of a moderately successful publishing agent from New York. And I was like, I wonder if this is based on someone that like annoyed the person. Like, it's Ben Edlund, I think, who wrote this episode. I wonder if someone annoyed Ben Edlund and he was like, later I will make you a demon. I don't know, but it's so funny. Like, I love that saying that's like, if a writer loves you or an artist, you'll be immortal forever. But if you've offended a creative person like a writer or an artist, they will make you pay forever. And I love that so much.
That's funny.
Yeah. So basically we realize that he's quite the con man, he's quite the salesman. And I just want to bring that part up because it is relevant to later on when he tells Bobby he just needs to borrow something quickly.
It just casually needs to borrow his soul.
Just for a minute. It's fine, Laura.
I'm sure that will go really well.
Yeah, super well.
So we cut to a pharmaceutical company, and this is where we meet Brady, and he's shouting at an employee who's doing his best.
Yeah, so he basically tells him that his best isn't good enough. And this very nervous man comes in and he's like, I'm sorry, because he goes into his office to report to him directly afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm sorry how I sounded. And Brady's like, no apologies, Mitch. I need people like you. And Mitch is like, really? And apparently his name is actually Mitchell, but I'm just going to call him Mitch now. I'm standing by that. So Brady says, really? In fact, there's a position in communications that I think you would be perfect for. And then he picks up this ornate chalice. And I was like, oh, he's going to do a Meg.
Yeah, he's got a Meg blood bowl.
Yeah. And then Mitchell says, sounds great. And Brady's like, it is great. So what do you say? You ready to enter the cutthroat world of upper management? And I was like, the puns, communications, cutthroat. Yeah. And Mitchell says, awesome. And Brady says, awesome. And then he slices his throat open and he's just kind of gurgling. And he says, ooh, watch the shoes, please. Get the rest later. Thanks. Because meaning the blood that is now pouring out of this man.
Ugh.
I thought this was so good. And then he literally uses it to summon Pestilence. So we see like flies coming as he does the chant, which I won't read because Laura gets upset every time that I do that. And she thinks I'm going to get everyone haunted. So
probably. Although I do have the translation of that actually. So I'm not going to read out the Latin, but
everyone's so scared of Latin.
The incantation, just because I can't actually read it. The Latin incantation that Brady uses to contact Pestilence translates to, of all the present to hold fast to me is presided over by the Lord of the Pestilences, the hands of the gods. Okay, fun fact.
Interesting.
So so Pestilence is his blood bowl daddy. Because that's what we called it when Meg was talking to Yelloweyes.
I forgot all about that, yeah.
Blood bowl daddy.
I said in my notes that this really reminded me of The Devil's Advocate, which is a movie from 1997.
Ooh. Yeah,
which has Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron, in which a young lawyer who's very ambitious slowly gets turned more and more evil. And it's the way that they filmed the offices and the color grades and on things. And then later on, I decided that it was like a mashup. This one felt like a mashup between like Outbreak or Contagion, The Devil's Advocate, and American Psycho.
Yeah,
because he's very American Psycho. Yeah, he's very Patrick Bateman. He's like, ooh, watch the shoes. Like he cuts his throat and he's like, oh no, watch my shoes, not my shiny loafers.
I did write that in my notes, actually. I wrote, this guy's a Chad. Actually, he's giving me Patrick Bateman vibes.
Yep. So yeah, no, I really think that's like the combination of horror references that we're seeing, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, so good. That's why we love it.
It is why we love it, because they're so cinematic on this show. Honestly, it's beautiful. So Brady goes on to say that the vaccine trials have been really quite grotesque, and that he thinks that he'll be pleased. And the flies buzzing is how he's communicating with Pestilence, which is super gross. Can I just say, like,
it's gross,
the
but it's cool.
effect of the blood and the flies is disgusting and amazing.
Yeah.
I was
disgusting
horrified.
and amazing.
Yeah. Then Brady says, I know I'm doing my best. And then he says, yes, sir, the best of someone better, which is the same thing that he said to the dude that he just killed.
Yeah.
So it like ends on a little bit of a comedy note. So I found, speaking of evil pharmaceutical companies and American pharmaceuticals kind of being the devil, I found this really interesting article. It came from the Independent newspaper. And there's a quote that I thought was interesting where it says, pharmaceutical companies are causing biased information to be given to doctors about the efficacy of drugs. And I'm sure that I'm not making this up. I feel like Scrubs did an episode all about this. Like they talk about it a lot. They try to be pretty medically accurate.
Yeah.
Where they talk about how like pharmaceutical companies are like running American medicine, and the whole system's really corrupted and it's really messed up. And the drugs are so expensive that people have to like pick and choose what they can take.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. When like in societies like the UK, although they're kind of fucking up the NHS, the Conservatives.
Yeah, I was gonna say it won't be lasting long.
Yeah. They've already invited the Americans over. Listen, if you have a country that has a decent medical system like the NHS and the Americans start trying to come over, whatever you have to do, tie yourself to the front of the government office, protest, do anything, because it's going to get so bad. Like I came from the American medical system. When I came over here, I was like, you don't have to pay for your medication. There's like a flat fee, and like they'll write you prescriptions for things. If you have allergies and you have to get like say gluten-free bread or something, you can get bread on prescription. Like everything is balanced. It is cradle to grave care. So if you have a kid born with like a heart defect, they will just do the surgery.
Yeah.
Like it's so civilized, and it's actually the way that things should be, as opposed to what we have in the US, which is horrific. Like
but we're going backwards.
Yeah, it's a step backwards. So it's worth talking about this, I feel like, so that everybody knows and everybody can kind of like keep a watchful eye on what's happening in their local government and try and do something. So the quote says, pharmaceutical companies are causing biased information to be given to doctors about the efficacy of drugs, causing an epidemic of misinformed practitioners that is, quote, costing hundreds of thousands of lives, end quote, across the world, it has been claimed. Speaking to the Independent, Dr. Assem Malhotra, an NHS cardiologist and trustee of the King's Fund Health think tank, claims there is, quote, a systemic lack of transparency in the information being given to doctors to prescribe medication, in terms of the benefits of drugs being grossly exaggerated and their side effects underreported in studies. So, like, one of the things that I've read in researching for this episode, and there's a couple of extra links that you guys can look at if you want to, but one of the claims that I've seen a lot is that the studies that are supposed to be blind studies put up by the pharmaceutical companies are not actually blind, because they're secretly run by the pharmaceutical companies themselves. And so the results get twisted. And so like the system continues. And like in America, for instance, those companies can pour money towards politicians who are continue to back up like the decisions that they're making and things that they're doing. So it's very, very concerning that people can't just access basic medicine. Like people are rationing insulin because insulin is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, and inhalers, it's the same thing. I was talking to a couple of my friends in the States who also have asthma. And my asthma is not like asthma is not that bad, but there are people who rely on inhalers to live, literally to live. And here, your inhalers are free, pretty much. And like they're paying like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for something so basic. It's insane.
Yeah, when you think about how much things cost, even like a pack of pills or something like that you need because, I don't know, you had cancer and you don't want it to come back, like things that you'd need, and it's so expensive. You're like, how is it this expensive? It's not fair.
No, it doesn't make sense to me. Like,
and because some people are going to need a lot more than other people. Some people are not going to need any medical intervention or very little in their whole life, and some people are going to need so much they don't have the money for that.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's also like, it's the whole insurance thing that ties into it too. Cause like, I remember being in the US, obviously I've got a lot of different medical conditions, don't I? And I couldn't pursue a diagnosis because my doctor pulled me to a side and he was like, pretty sure that you have this, but I can't give you the diagnosis because you will become uninsurable. You'll lose all of your medical insurance the second that you get diagnosed. And that's the other thing that's different about privatized healthcare that I worry that people don't realize is like, they won't cover you if you are actually sick.
Which is the whole point.
Which is a problem. Do you know what I mean? That's a problem.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So I really feel that like the corrupted medical system being the demon is so accurate.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm honestly so scared. Like, as an American living in the UK right now, I'm shitting a brick because I'm watching all of these American companies fuck everything up. And I can see how badly we're backsliding. And I can see us being like a breath away from everything's privatized. And we lose the NHS completely. And that actually terrifies me.
Everything is slowly becoming privatized. That's the problem. It's happened so slowly that people haven't noticed. Well, a lot of people haven't noticed. And then, I mean, dentistry now is basically completely privatized. You cannot get an NHS dentist at all anymore. I had to go private this year. I'd managed to keep my dentist up until like this year, and I've had to go private now, and it's so expensive.
It's crazy. And like the other thing that I've found, which is a problem in the States and is now a problem here, is you used to have like a certain amount of time with doctors. But because of the way that they've sabotaged the NHS and everyone who is actually working is so overbooked and overtired and burning out that they've started limiting appointment times. And they've also limited surgeries and practices because like they're basically asking medical practitioners to do impossible things. So understandably, less and less people want to be medical practitioners. So it's not just that like we're in danger because things are being privatized. We're in danger because we're not replacing people at the rate that we need to. Everywhere is so understaffed, which is dangerous. And if you're like me and you have multiple conditions, you're not going to see anyone. Because you can't in 5 or 10 minutes, which is all they'll give you, explain a complicated condition and get a referral. I have tried. It does not work.
No.
So I'm like completely fucked now. And people like me are completely fucked. And it's just so messed up.
Yeah.
That was a happy note. But
this is depressing.
Honestly, it's so depressing. But honestly, it's got to be discussed though, hasn't it? Like, and I feel like I'm out here like warning. I feel like is it Cassandra? I think it's Cassandra who has like she sees what's happening and she's warning everyone, but her curse is that no one will believe her. I feel like a little bit like Cassandra, where it's just like, guys, this is so bad. Don't let it happen in your country.
I mean, it's basically already happened, hasn't it? That's the sad thing.
That is the sad thing here. But it might not be too late for some other places.
Well, yeah. It's too late for us. Save yourselves.
Save yourselves. Yeah.
So then we cut back to the abandoned house and Sam asks Dean why they are even listening to Crowley, as it's insane. And Crowley then appears behind them as he's saying it. And Dean agrees. Crowley says, "One big happy family then, are we? Fantastic." And then he tells them that Sam isn't coming because he doesn't like him. And Sam is furious.
Well, he's like, because you keep trying to murder me.
Yeah, which, I mean, fair point.
Yeah.
And Dean agrees to go alone, and Sam is shooketh and furious again. And Dean says that he believes him. And I wrote in my notes, Crowley is in a red light here. Joy has taught me that this is bad.
Yes, it is. It's a sign that he's planning something.
Yeah.
I just wrote in my notes, Crowley manipulates the situation so that Dean goes with him alone. Sam is like, what the actual fuck? Loving the red light on Crowley.
Oh, okay. We had the same notes.
Yep.
Yeah, Dean and Crowley drive off, and Sam just watches them in disbelief because he can't actually believe the Dean is abandoning him again.
Even.
We then cut to a little later, and Sam is drinking whiskey and talking to Bobby on the phone about what's just happened. I wrote, Sam and Bobby gossiping on the phone and drinking. This is the Hunter's equivalent of a high school girl's sleepover.
Oh, that's amazing. So this is when we hatch a plan. Okay, Sam has an idea. So he brings Sam with a plan. He brings up that Bobby was able to overcome the demon for long enough to stab himself.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, well, if I let Lucifer in, then if I could take control, I could jump into the cage.
Yeah. But Bobby's like, no, that's a bad idea.
He's like, will you stop trying to kill me? Because Bobby's their dad, as we know. Yeah. And Bobby literally says, are you agents trying to kill me? And Sam's like, Bobby. And Bobby's like, we just got done talking your brother off the ledge, and now you're lining up to say yes? Sam.
They're always trying to sacrifice themselves.
And they really are. We're at the point now where, you know how Kara made that reference of like the piece of art where it's like Sam and Dean infinitely folding over each other, being like, no, I'll save you. No, I'll save you. Where you can get with that. You can understand it now.
Definitely.
So Bobby says it's not an option, and Sam asks why. And Bobby says, this hurt my feelings on Sam's behalf. Bobby says, you can't do it. What I did was 1,000,000 to 1, and that was some pissant demon I was brain wrestling. You're talking about, but he actually says wrestling. Can I just say? He's very Southern in this. He's brain wrestling. I appreciated that. You're talking about taking back control from Satan himself. And Sam's like, yeah, I am. And Bobby says, kid, it's called possession for a reason. You of all people ought to know. And Sam says, I'm strong enough. And Bobby says, you ain't. He's going to find every chink in your armor, Sam, and use it against you. Your fear, your grief, your anger. And let's face it, you're not exactly Mr. Anger Management. How are you going to control the devil when you can't even control yourself?
These are all great points, Bobby.
And I was like, ooh, damn. My notes are just like, number one, I love angry Sam. Number two, ouch, Bobby.
I mean, Sam is being a little bit like, he does kind of always think that he is, I don't want to say he's arrogant, but he can be sometimes. Like thinks that he's the best.
There's a reason why pride is his sin. Right? We've said that before. There's a reason why that's his sin.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad person. And a lot of it comes from a really good place.
Yeah.
I actually like believe in him when he's like, I can do it. I'm like, yeah, you can, Sam.
I do as well, but it's like when you like just kind of talk about it after, or like when we're critically looking at it, I'm like, Bobby
Loki has a point.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next scene has my whole heart. It is so funny. It's so good.
Yeah.
So we go back to the demon pharmaceutical company. And I wrote earlier, I was like, yes, American pharmaceutical companies being demonic makes perfect sense to me. This tracks. So Crowley says, you Winchesters make everything so complicated. And then he just vanishes. And Dean's like, oh, and then here you just see Crowley merrily reappearing inside and slitting some dude's throat. And then he's just killing everyone. And Dean's inside the Impala going, oh, crap. I was like, he panicked and became 12. So then he runs inside and he's trying to get into the door. And Crowley's like, the door's open. What? And Dean's like, you killed them. And Crowley's like, we're on a tight schedule. Come on. Now you're squeamish? Please. So then he goes over to the elevator And Crowley does not get in. And Dean's like, whoa, why am I here by myself? He's like, Crowley says, go get him, Tiger. And Dean says, what, you're not coming? And Crowley says, oh no, it's not safe up there. There's demons. I died laughing. Like, that is honestly such a funny line. So inside Brady's office, Brady hears a thud outside and then heads out. And it is Dean Winchester. And he says, Dean Winchester? What? No appointment? And he says kind of an 11th hour thing, you know? And Brady says, well, then you're just on time. Have a seat. How's your brother? Well, down to business then. What can I do for you? Because Dean's face is like, he's not into the banter.
Yeah.
And Dean says, actually, it's about what I can do for you. And Brady's like, really? And Dean says, me and Sam dropped 2 of your jockeys. I think you know that. And Brady says, yeah, I got the memo. And Dean says, well, we kept their secret power rings. And Brady's like, And Dean says, which is why I'm here. I heard some folks saying that you wanted them back and you were willing to pay. And Brady asks where they are. And Dean says that they're not with him. But if he goes nice and civil, they'll discuss the transaction. And Brady says, who says I want him? And Dean is completely shook at this point. He's like, what? And Brady says, who says I want them? And Dean's like, folks.
Folks.
Brady says, see, war and famine, even if I could cram the rings back on their bony fingers, I doubt it would do much good. They're withered husks right now, fetal position on the floor, all thanks to you. So I don't want the rings. What I want is retribution. I'm going to rip it right out of your ass. And then he starts beating the shit out of Dean.
Yeah. He actually cuts Dean's head, like Dean's head's bleeding. And I just wrote in my notes, OMG, he hurt our Dino, how dare he?
I just wrote that this was very Fight Club. This is like very like American Psycho.
Yeah.
Like Fight Club, kind of like a mashup. And it was really cool. I really appreciated it.
Yeah. I did write, I wrote, it's definitely Patrick Bateman here.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like a mashup. He's saying this is so good while kicking the shit out of Dean. And then he's like, therapeutic for sure. Dean, I really owe you one, buddy, because I feel, and then he kicks him again, so much better. And this really is Patrick Bateman coded, like this entire scene.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, honestly.
And then so Dean, he like chucks Dean out of his office, and Dean runs into the lift and he starts pushing buttons to make the doors close. And when he gets down to the lobby, he hesitantly exits, and Brady appears behind him and hits him on the head. He says, good meeting, Dean. I'm excited. And Crowley approaches from behind and drops a sack over his head that has a devil's trap on it. And then he bashes Brady's head with a crowbar.
He says, evening, uncle. And he's just smashing him. It's so funny. And Dean's like, what the hell was that? And Crowley says, that was perfect. And Dean's like, perfect? He didn't want the rings. He wanted me. And Crowley says, imagine the surprise on your face. And Dean's like, what? And Dean says, Crowley says, your ignorance and misinformation. I mean, completely authentic. You can't fake that. What? It went like clockwork. And Dean says, not for me, you son of a bitch. So he's all bloodied up. And Crowley says, that's what you get working with a demon.
This is where I wrote, that was brutal, Crowley. Okay, I love him. He's a great character.
You're so well adjusted, Laura. Yeah, no, Crowley is amazing, and it is impossible to not love him, honestly. Like, he's so funny.
Cheeky. And like, yeah, it's like, well, that's what you get working with a demon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a point.
He does have a point.
So Dean and Crowley are now driving in the Impala. Crowley is carving a sigil into Brady's chest, which must work like a devil's trap from how he explains it. It's going to stop him like getting out of his meat suit. Dean tells him to mind the upholstery, and Crowley says, up yours, mate.
So this is so much better because you can do Crowley's accent with an actual authentic accent of your own. We have a Brit. We can do it. We have the power.
Crowley then tells Dean that they can't take Brady back to Sam because he knows him. And Dean stops the car abruptly again and tells Crowley he needs to tell him what's going on. And then we see Sam at the abandoned house waiting. We hear the car pull up. Sam goes downstairs and asks Crowley where Dean is. He nods to another room and tells Sam that for the record, he's against this. and he explains that he begged Dean not to come back, but he did. And then in the other room, Dean is tying Brady to a chair on top of a devil's trap. And I wrote, he still has the bag on his head. How many devil's traps and sigils does one demon need?
A lot.
A lot, yeah. Sam walks in and asks Dean what's going on. He tells Sam he needs to stay focused and says that he trusts him. Does he though? Brady then wakes and says, Sam, is that you? And Dean takes the bag off Brady's head and Sam recognizes him, saying, Brady? Brady then says that Brady hasn't been Brady since the middle of their sophomore year.
Yeah.
And Sam is shooketh. Then he's angry because he realizes that it was Demon Brady who introduced him to Jess. And Dean forces Sam out of the room when he gets angry.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, Crowley goes in. He's like, well, it sounds like you got him nice and fluffed. Thanks so much. And Dean says, listen to me. We need Pestilence to get at the devil, and we need Brady to get Pestilence. And Sam's like, why? Because Crowley said so? Because we trust him now? Like I trusted Ruby? Or like I trusted Brady back? It's like Sam is having a meltdown.
Yeah. He's had a lot of information.
Yeah. Crowley says, look, do the math yourself. If Lucifer wins, he'll turn this place into his kingdom. When the Morning Star cleans house, we all get the mop. And Brady says, he created us. Why would he destroy us? That makes no sense. I was like, he's best friends with Meg. And Crowley says, look at what he is, then take a look at what we are. And Brady says, maybe you should be a little less worried about our necks and be a little more worried about yours. And Crowley says, has crossed my mind. That's not really the point. And then Brady says, actually, Crowley, that is the point. No one will know greater torment than you. Lucifer is never going to let you die. As for me, I know the score. I'm dead whether I tell you anything or not. So I think I'll die on the winning side. Thanks. Crowley's just like, good talk. Cheers.
Yeah.
And Dave's like, how did it go? And he's like, this is not good. And then he says, where's your moose? Which is iconic and important because this will not be the last time that he's referred to as a moose. And it like makes so much sense because when you think about it, you know, Sam is a huge, muscular, like scary when angry beast, basically.
Yeah. I knew this is a thing because you've called him a moose before as well. Yeah. And does Dean get called squirrel or something?
He does,
I think moose and squirrel is a thing. Is it both? Is that what Crowley calls them?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. But the thing that I like about this, because he's like, where's your moose? And Dean just points. Which is
Dean
funny.
doesn't question it. He
doesn't have a reaction.
Like, yes, there.
Yeah. He's like, he's a moose.
Yeah. Everyone agrees automatically.
Yeah.
What I think is really endearing is Jared thinks it's hilarious to pretend that he is a moose and take photos and add that to like, so he'll have like, if there's like moose antlers, he'll put his head in between them and take photos, post it.
That's funny.
It's so good. Right. So basically, Crowley tells Dean to get bent. And Dean's like, are you going somewhere? And Crowley says, well, he won't budge. So now I have to go stick my neck out. And Dean says, what are you going to do? And Crowley says, exactly the kind of desperate swashbuckle thing I've been trying to avoid. Now I got to go kick open a hive of demons. This whole bloody ring business better work. And then he disappears. And Dean goes into the bathroom to wash his face to try to like cool down off of stuff and just focus up. And Sam comes behind him and locks him in with a chair. And Dean's like, Sam, don't do this. Sam, come on. Hey, open the door. Hey, honestly, it's funny.
Yeah. And then he goes to see Brady, doesn't he?
He goes to see Brady, yeah.
He gets his knife out.
Yeah. So Brady basically reveals to Sam that he hasn't been himself since sophomore year and that Sam realizes it was at Thanksgiving. And Brady says, remember when I came back with all the drugs and bitches? Those are his words.
Yeah.
He says, that was the new Brady. That was me. Remember how much time you spent trying to get me back on the right track? You really were a good friend. And then he points out that Azazel did not send him back to be a good friend. And that Azazel thought that they were starting to lose him and that Sam was becoming a mild-mannered, worthless sack of piss, in their words. It's basically like just being a decent human. And not an abomination, according to Cass, because Sam, of course, is an abomination. It's always funny. So he says they couldn't have that. He was the favorite to be Lucifer's vessel. So he says he hooked him up with Jess so that he could ruin Sam, basically. So he specifically got them together so that Jess was going to get killed the same way that Mary got killed.
Yeah.
And then
Giving
that
him a
would
Mary
put
John
Sam on the
situation.
path. Yeah, exactly.
Cool, Sam. I think it's quite funny. In my notes, I'd written that if Brady has been a demon since sophomore year and now he's like a top businessman, that implies that this demon finished school, took his studies seriously, and worked his way up a career ladder, which is funny to me.
That is funny. He's a business demon.
Yeah, business demon. He's really horrible when he's talking about Jess, though. I didn't like that bit.
That part's horrific.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah,
I'm gonna skip over it because it's so horrible.
Yeah. No, didn't need to.
But I will say that this actor is brilliant, and actually, hilariously, he was on one of my other favorite shows, Smallville, with Jensen. Which I didn't know before Supernatural Wiki told me that was a fun fact, and I was like, "That is a fun fact, Supernatural Wiki."
Cool. Who did he play? I haven't watched Smallville for ages, so I might not remember, but he did look familiar.
Smallville. So they say the actor who plays Brady, Eric Johnson, previously played Whitney Fordman in the first. Oh, he's Whitney in the first season of Smallville. So he's like the OG bully. Smallville also featured Jensen Ackles in its 4th season, which is true. He got that job before he got Supernatural.
Yeah, I kind of want to rewatch Smallville because I did watch it at the time, but I only watched it like once when it was on the TV.
I love it so much. Like it's hokey and silly and dated now. And some parts of it are definitely kind of problematic because it's dated. But what isn't? I suppose if you're looking at old shows. I love it because I just feel like Tom Welling is such a perfect young Superman.
Yeah.
He's so good. And the actress, I'm blanking on her name at the moment, but the actress who plays Lois Lane later on is also flawless. And also, when I was growing up and watching it, I thought that Kristen Kirk was the prettiest girl I'd ever seen in the entire world. And I worshipped her. So I loved watching Lana. I was just like, I just want to grow up and look like Lana and be Lana Lang.
Aww. So we cut to the bathroom where Dean is banging on the door to get out, and Sam does let him out. Dean goes to check that Brady is okay, and he is. Crowley then appears and goes into the room where Brady is. He tells him he has good news and he's going to live forever. And Brady asks what he's done. And Crowley basically says that he's set him up, so now all the demons think they're working together to stop Lucifer. And I liked it when he's like, "Hello, darling."
Hello, darling is so iconic. I actually love this back and forth. It is so unbelievably funny. So Brady asks Crowley what he did, and Crowley says, "Went over to a demon's nest, had a little massacre. Must be losing my touch, though. Let one of the little toads live. Oops. Also, might have given said toad the impression that you left your post last night because you and I are, wait for it, lovers in league against Satan." And then he laughs, and Brady's like, "Oh, fuck my life." And Crowley says, "Hello, darling. So now, death is off the table. Now you get to be on the boss's eternal torment list with little old me." And Brady's like, "No. And Crowley says something else we have in common, apart from our torrid passion, of course. Craven self-preservation. So now, why don't you tell me where Pestilence is?" So then we hear, in the distance, we hear, "Ahoo!" And everyone shits themselves. And Brady's like, "Oh God, Crowley." And Dean says, "Was that a hellhound?" And Crowley says, "I'd say yeah." And Dean says, "Why?"
Has PTSD from hellhounds.
Well, yeah, he does. "Why was that a hellhound?"
Why?
Why is it?
Why hellhounds?
Why? And he groans and then he searches himself and he pulls out a coin. Now, I'm pretty sure, I forgot to look this up actually, but I'm pretty sure it's a Nero coin. Like, I'm pretty positive it says Nero. I zoomed in, I paused it. So I'm going to have to check on this later on. If you guys know already, message us in the comments when this episode comes out, and because I'm going to forget to look again probably, but I'm pretty sure that is Nero's coin, which would be cool because I feel like demons would absolutely use Nero's coin, and it kind of goes along because not only did Nero do some kind of demonic stuff, but also he's really linked to the fall of the Roman Empire and kind of the end times for Rome. He's sort of the apocalypse of Rome, isn't he? So that feels a little bit like a reference to the apocalypse is coming and demon currency and stuff. It made sense. Yeah. So I thought that was just a fun little nerdy. I like old Roman stuff.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I just noticed that it was an old coin.
Yeah. So Crowley says, remember I was telling you about my crafty little tracking device? And Sam's like, yeah. Sam's so raging. Crowley says, demons planted one on me. And Sam's like, you're saying a hellhound followed you here? And Crowley's like, well, technically he followed this. Crowley's like, it's not my fault, I swear.
It's so funny because Dean is literally standing there like open mouthed. He's like,
yeah, he's just like, I can't even believe it.
It's kind of cute though. It was kind of cute.
He's just like, what the actual fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
So then Sam says, shut up, because Brady is like, get me out of here, I'll tell you anything you want. And Sam's like, shut the fuck up. Dan says, okay, well, we should go. And Crowley's like, sorry boys, no one knows more about the hellhounds than I. You're long past the point of go. And then he throws the coin to Dean, who catches it. And Crowley vanishes. And Dean says, damn it. And Sam says, I told you. And Dean says, oh, well, good for you.
I was laughing so hard the way he says that.
It's so funny.
Good for you.
Yeah. He says, luckily we have salt in the kitchen. Sam says that he's going to watch Brady. And then the howling continues before the hellhounds break into the house. And Dean starts firing off his various guns that he has. He goes from like small gun to big gun, which is really entertaining. And he's doing really well for trying to shoot something that's pretty invisible, honestly. Yeah. Brady is screaming to get him out of there. And I'm like, they're not really motivated to do that. Sam and Dean in unison are like, shut up. And Brady's like, great, just great. And then Crowley suddenly comes back in and says, hey. And Dane says, you're back. And Crowley says, I'm invested currently. Which is so deadpan. And then we hear another hellhound and he says, stay. And Dean says, you can control them. And Crowley says, not that one. And he points to the one behind Dean that we can't see because it's invisible, can I just say. And then he says, I brought my own. And then he says, mine's bigger. And he pats something that's at the height of like a Great Dane and says, sick him, boy. And you hear like these much bigger, larger barks as there's an invisible dog fight. And they did a lot of cheesy like video game graphics for this CGI fight and like fake blood splatter. And it was, here's the thing. It wasn't so silly that it like takes you out of the episode, but it was silly enough that it like you didn't take it too seriously, which I actually think is important because dog fights are, even just listening to the dog fight, knowing it wasn't a real dog fight, I was like, no, stop it. Yeah. So I feel like they made the right call there to like just keep it a little bit light, a little bit silly so that it didn't go too dark.
And I suppose it's quite hard to film an invisible dog having a fight.
Yeah, I imagine that's a challenge. Crowley, in the meantime, is placing bets. He's like, I'll wager you $1,000 that my dog wins, basically.
He just leaves him there, though.
He does well because he knows he's a big bad boy and he's not going to lose. I think that's Crowley's thought process.
Yeah.
So
they all run away, get in the car, don't they?
They do. They run away. They get to the car. Yeah.
They're then in an alleyway, and Brady gives Crowley a piece of paper and says Pestilence will be there. And Crowley then leaves, and Dean puts a salt line across the alley, leaving Sam and himself in there with him. And Sam confronting Brady in the alley was kind of hot. And then
it was super hot, but also you missed the part where like he's drawing it really slowly and then Crowley's standing there and he like gives Crowley a second to get out of it before he does the salt ring and they exchange these licks, and that part is so funny. And then we get like one of the best lines in Supernatural, like of all of Supernatural ever.
What's that? What's the line?
The best line ever is Dean saying, all those angels, all those demons, those sons of bitches, they just don't get it, do they, Sammy? And Sam says, no, they don't, Dean. And Dean says, you see, Brady, we're the ones you should be afraid of. And Brady scoffs. And Sam walks up with a knife. And Brady's like, I bet this is a real big moment for you, big boy. Got to make you feel all better. And he's just like winding him up. Yeah. And the next lines are awesome too. But honestly, the one that really always gives me goosebumps is when Dean's like, all those angels, all those demons, all those sons of bitches, they just don't get it, do they, Sammy? And he's like, you should be afraid of us. And I was like, and it reminds me of Buffy too, because she's like, it's something like, I'm the thing the monsters are afraid of. And right now, you and me, we're going to show them why. Such a good line. Yeah, it's really right? Good. Such a good line. And this is such a Supernatural like equivalent of that. But it's just like, it's so, they're like, I've seen so many threads, memes, posts about it, being like, they're such little psychopaths and I love them so much. And that this scene just highlights it absolutely perfectly is what I've seen around the most. And it's just like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's such a thirst trap. Both of them are a thirst trap. Dean's a thirst trap when he's like, they just don't get it, do they, Sammy? And Sam's a thirst trap when he's like, no, they don't. It's amazing. Amazing. So then Brady's like, this isn't really going to make you feel better. Like, he's being sarcastic about it. He's like, oh, is this going to make you feel better? And Sam all menacingly says, it's a start. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then Brady says, going to make up for all the times that we yanked your chain, Yellow Eyes, Ruby, me. But it wasn't all our fault, was it? No. You're the one who trusted us. You're the one who let us into your life. Let us whisper in your ear over and over and over again. Ever wonder why that is, Sammy? And he says it kind of like Sammy, like how Azazel says it. And I thought that was cool. He says, ever wonder why we were so in your blind spot? Maybe it's because we got the same stuff in our veins. And deep down, you know, you're just like us. And then Brady attacks Sam, but Sam really coldly and coolly like deals with him and then stabs him with the blade.
Yeah.
And that really hurts. And he's like, Brady screams. But he says, maybe you hate us so much because you hate what you see every time you look in the mirror. You ever think of that? And then he laughs and he says, maybe the only difference between you and a demon is your hell is right here. And Sam stabs Brady until he dies and then just says, interesting theory. And that was hot.
Yeah.
I love that scene so much. That is one of my favorite scenes ever. It's so good. There's so many great scenes, but like the ones that live rent free in my head all the time is like Crowley having the rant outside, like when he just appears in the car and everyone tries to kill him.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And then when he's like, they ate my Taylor. That's amazing. And then it's just they just don't get it, do they, Sam? And Sam's like, no, they don't, Dean. Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's good because he was the one who killed Jess and like set them all up. So it's kind of like Sam got to do what John didn't. Yeah. Like he went after Yellow Eyes, but Sam is like
Sam
the equivalent.
Succeeded. Yeah. That's huge. Also, I just realized he stabbed him in the stomach the same way that Mary and Jess were stabbed. So it's literal retribution the way that he kills him.
Yeah. So then we just have the last scene with Bobby.
Mm-hmm. So it's inside Bobby's house, and Bobby says, is kind of like saying, yeah, I followed up nasty omens, but none of it's death with a capital D. Well, just give me a ring if it turns into anything. And Rufus, you watch your ass out there. And then Crowley just appears, as he is wont to do. It's the infernal whimsy. And he says, chin up, cavalry's arrived. And Bobby cocks his revolver. And Crowley says, charming, that won't work on me. Name's Crowley. Maybe you've... And Bobby says, you're Crowley? And Crowley says, in the flesh of a moderately successful literary agent out of New York. And then Bobby just shoots him. And Crowley's like, I see you have heard of me. I liked this suit. And we all know that's a problem because they ate his Taylor.
You can't have it fixed.
No. And Bobby says, what are you doing here? And Crowley says, looking out for Crowley. And Bobby says, meaning. And Crowley says, the boys are on to ring number 3, but we still need number 4. I'm here to help. And Bobby says, you know where death is? And Crowley says, no, haven't the foggiest. And then Bobby shoots him again. Actually, sorry, my bad. He doesn't shoot him. He just cocks the shotgun at him. And Bobby says, well, then get the hell off my property before I blast you so full of rock salt, you crap margaritas.
I love that quote.
Such a good line. Crowley says, that's a mite unfriendly scene, as I could be giving you death's location and about the time it'd take you to reload. And Bobby says, you're just going to chat some demons up and hope they don't recognize you. And Crowley says, God, no, that could get me killed. But there is this little spell that I know. And Bobby's like, that's so. And Crowley says, results are 100% guaranteed. And Bobby says, okay, then why are you snake oiling me? And Crowley says, well, it's a little bit embarrassing. There is this technicality. And Bobby's like, uh-huh. And Crowley says, I need a little something to get the magic going. And Bobby's like, and what's that? Crowley says, you make a wish. I can give you anything you want, mate, up to and including death's coordinates. All I need is, and Bobby says, my soul. And Crowley says, I've done more with less. Let's just say, when they're getting their Grammys, they shouldn't be thanking God. It's worth it, Bobby. Thank. And Bobby says, okay, here's my counter. And then he shoots him. And Crowley says, ow, bloody hell, feisty. And Bobby says, get out. And Crowley says, I'll give it right back. And so he's like, I'll give it right back.
I'll give it right back.
And Bobby says, you think I'm a natural born idiot? And Crowley says, quite the contrary. Look, you're right to be suspicious, but I'm your ally, enemy of my enemy and all that. I need the devil back in his stock. In fact, my delicate ass depends on it. I promise you. Temporary loan. I'll give it right back. And then it cuts.
Ooh.
That's the end.
Yeah. So obviously you know what's going to happen because you've watched it before, but I don't. Yep. And so I am predicting, I think Bobby will do it because he loves the boys. But then I'm like, but will he really get it right back? Like, what's going to happen? And I wrote, Crowley is very charismatic. I don't trust him, but I do think he's great.
He is very charismatic, and he is pretty great.
So I'm interested to see what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
Poor Bobby.
Bobby's so smart, though.
Yeah. I think it'll be okay if Bobby does it. I think he will do it, but I think it'll be okay.
Have to wait and see, Laura, won't you? Does it leave you like really hyped up to watch the next episode?
Yeah. I nearly did watch the next episode, but I didn't.
We're so proud of you. Yeah, after this one, you're like, oh my God, I really need to see the next episode. Like, I remember when this was airing and I was just like, what do you mean I have to wait another week?
Yeah.
I was so mad. Because that's such a cliffhanger.
I'm going to feel the same after the next one as well, because that's the penultimate episode, isn't it? The next one.
Oh, yeah. That's always a cliffhanger.
Ah.
Usually it's the cliffhanger, like, end all cliffhangers, isn't it?
Yeah. Should we do end of episode games?
Yes, we should.
Villain hot or not?
Brady's hot.
Yeah. I put Brady's hot, but he's got such an awful personality it cancels it out.
He is terrible. He is actually terrible, but he's still attractive to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to date Brady the demon or anything, but objectively the man playing him is hot.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Scare rating for the episode?
Oh. I give it a 5 because when you first watch the episode and you don't know what's going on, when Dean's getting the shit kicked out of him by Brady, that's actually quite scary.
Yeah.
And there's also the hellhounds coming back, which you're not really expecting in this episode either. And then there's the emotional damage of like, by the way, Jess died because we wanted to corrupt your soul forever. Evil laughter. So like, as much as there's a lot of comedy here, like there are some scares too.
I gave it a 5 as well and it was for the hellhounds because even though you can't see them, it's scary because of how Dean reacts to it. Because he's really scared of it, obviously, because he was ripped apart by them and then went to hell.
He died.
He has PTSD now, quite rightly so. Favorite quotes.
Oh, okay. Prepare yourselves. So the first one is, "They ate my tailor."
I had that one.
Yeah.
but that and the eye roll afterwards together.
Yeah, that's amazing. Dean being like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, who cares?" I care. I'm with you, Crowley. That's upsetting. Dean says, "What? You're not coming?" And Crowley says, "Oh no, it's not safe up there. There are demons."
That was a good one.
Yeah. Then when Brady is attacking Dean, and then Crowley appears from nowhere, sacks his entire head, and then starts beating him with a crowbar and says, "Evening, Uncle." And Dean's like, "What the hell was that?" And Crowley says, "That was perfect." And he's like, he doesn't want the rings. He wanted me. And Crowley's like, "Imagine the surprise on your face." I thought that was so funny. He says it went you can't fake that. It went like clockwork. And then I love, "Hello, darling." That's so good. And then also I love, "I told you." And then, "Well, good for you."
Yeah, I had that one. Good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah. I also had I had "ate my tailor" and "good for you." But then I had Sam saying to Crowley, "You're saying a hellhound followed you here," and Crowley holding up the tracker saying, "Well, technically he followed this."
Yeah.
That made me laugh how he said it.
Yeah.
And then Bobby's line about the margaritas. "We'll get the hell off my property before I blast you so full of rock salt, you crap margaritas."
Yeah.
That was funny.
That was really funny.
What was your favorite thirst trap?
Sam and Dean threatening Brady, and then Sam killing Brady.
Yeah,
that
just the whole bit.
That whole section was so hot.
Yeah. Mine was Sam when he was angry with Crowley at the start, like when he tries to stab him and then they all have an argument in the street.
Yeah, that
and
was
Sam's
really
just really angry at him.
That was also a thirst trap, in fairness. Yes, agreed. Yeah.
MVP.
Crowley.
I think it's Crowley. Yeah,
it's Crowley
because he did save them from the hellhounds.
Yeah. And there is no motel. There is only his abandoned leaky house. Would you stay there in his?
No, bubble? I gave it 0 stars.
0 stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Didn't look very nice.
It did not look very nice.
Yeah, 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
We're gonna see Death next episode.
I think so. What's the name of the episode?
It's only, I think we worked it out before that we were going to see him.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Because you were excited, and then it was right at the start of the season, and you were like, "Oh, I thought we were going to see him before then."
Yeah.
2 minutes to midnight.
Only people who've seen it will know why I'm humming that, but they'll know. Also, that was not exactly the right notes. I'm sorry about that, but I was too excited.
So yeah, next episode is Death, and then the one after that is the finale.
It's so exciting. So exciting, because Death introductory episode is one of the best episodes ever, and then Swan Song is also one of the best episodes ever. So it's a treat, Laura. We are being treated. We are being led down a primrose path, but not to bad things, to good things.
I'm excited to see how this is going to end, and how it was intended to end, the whole thing was going to end.
I know, right? Although I'm a little bit mad at Eric Kripke for the emotional trauma of his original plan.
Uh-oh.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Can you imagine if they had ended, we would be finishing this podcast in a couple of episodes' time?
That's wild, actually, to think about it like that.
But what is actually going to happen is we're only a third of the way through.
Yeah, thank goodness. I feel like when we actually get to the end, we're on season 15 and we're going to watch the last episodes, I feel like I'm going to have an existential crisis.
Yeah.
I will not know what to do with myself.
So that is it from us today. Really looking forward to the next 2 episodes. Let us know what you think. Tell us in the comments what you think about Crowley.
Yes. Except if you don't like him, you're wrong and you should get out.
You can still tell us though.
Yeah, you could still tell us. You're just incorrect. That's fine. You can be incorrect.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. We do allow all the opinions on the podcast. We did say from the beginning that we're going to let everybody have their say. Which I like that about us. I like that we Professor Ducklington and I, which is a funny sentence to say. And I hope that name never changes, because it's amazing. We're on different sides of the street when it comes to the logic about Sam and Dean's feelings. However, I do get it, and I understand what's being said, and I get it, man. I kind of like the, I don't know, stepping into somebody else's shoes and understanding, even if you're never going to agree with the way that they view it, actually understanding why they see it that way is cool. It's deep.
Yeah, I like that. I've always liked trying to see other people's points of view of things.
Yeah, and I feel like the world now, with the internet, especially the way that it's set up to be an echo chamber, there's a lot of nuance that's lacking. And I think it's good to have a space where you can talk about supernatural and you can disagree with each other civilly and hear everyone out and be like, that's actually a great point. I'm not going to take on your viewpoint. However, I totally see what you're saying, and I value it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to try and change people.
Because you and I don't even agree.
No.
We sometimes are being oh, we're genuinely mad at each other. We're just I'll be what the hell, Laura? How could you possibly say that?
We agree on quite a lot of things, but yeah, we do clash with certain things.
We have our moments.
Usually if Sam and Dean are at odds, because we take sides.
We take their sides. Sometimes we swapped. I feel like there's one episode where I was no, Sam is right, and you were no, Dean is right, and we were just what the hell is happening?
I think that was probably with the demon blood.
Yeah, I think that was the demon blood.
Because I do sometimes understand Dean's point of view.
Yeah, because you are Dean.
Yeah, I think that's why that's why I have a love-hate relationship with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have a lot of Dean similarities in me. But apparently I took the quiz and I'm apparently Castiel. So
I don't remember who I was when we did that quiz.
Dean.
Oh, was I?
You legitimately are Dean. And I'm like Castiel. Oh, that reminds me. Nadine took the quiz and it told her she was John Winchester and she was not amused. And I was like, yeah, that's not right. You're not John Winchester.
What did she answer?
I don't know. But I thought I should let you know because you thought it was all rigged to get you were like, maybe it's rigged to get these answers. Turns out no. Turns out you could be John Winchester.
Oh dear.
You're not John, Nadine, don't worry. So yeah. That's a very unhinged way to go out, guys, but I feel like that's much par for the course.
That's how we like it.
Listen to us. If you're a new listener, I'm so sorry, but welcome.
I like an unhinged goodbye. So yeah, on that note, bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at the Witches of Letters podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.